Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Alright guys, just a brief little warning here. I got a mean case of the hiccups and I can feel it coming back. So, be ready. Alright, but let's talk about it, guys. We got big tech earnings coming Wednesday and Thursday. The market wanted to do absolutely nothing today, traded completely flat, then started pushing into the close. We're going to kick it off here with the indices. We're going to go over the Mag 7 stocks. We're going to go over the semiconductor stocks. We got some hot ones for you. And then I got some trade ideas at the end of the video just for you. Stay tuned. All right. Kicking it off here with QQ, guys. We didn't get the worst close today. It was a spinning top candlestick. It was a doji candlestick. What creates the spinning top? You gap up, you print an indecision candlestick. That's all it is. All right, we got a potential candlestick here to pivot off of. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Let's talk about it. Here on the 4 hour, here on the hour, it really does not look all that bad. And if you do pop above 569.04, I assume you are going to take out this morning's high, this morning's pre-market high at 569.88. Above there, 571, 572. So on the upside, we're just watching 569.04. Above there, 569.88, 571, 572, 575. All the way up here. On the downside, we have 567.70, 566.87, and 566.06. 566.06 is that big level to watch tomorrow. If we break underneath that, which is only $2.50 away, we break underneath that, expect a larger sell. We're likely going to revisit 564.35, 563.29, 562.31, and probably 560.80 if we violate 566.06. At that point, we can start a larger sell. All right, that would be a nice reversal off of what we just called the spinning top candlestick here. All right, there'll be you giving up 566.06. But like I said, the hourly chart over here, the 4 hour chart, guys, things still are in bull territory, okay? They're still looking bullish, still looking like we want to push up to new highs. We'll see what happens tomorrow, okay? With what we're going to go over a VIX right after SPY here, I'm just going to point out we're likely going a little bit higher here on the indices tomorrow if VIX is going to be making new lows, which is likely. On the downside over here on SPY, guys, the level to watch is 634.84. Break that. Expect a larger downside move, potentially all the way down here to 626.28, previous all-time highs. All right, that was the top of the range before we start breaking out. So on the downside, we watch 636.15, 634.84, key level. Break under that key level. We're talking 631.54, 629.73, 627.86, and 626.28. On the upside, all right, we just have today's high, 638.04. Above 638.04, we're coming up to 639.33, this morning's pre-market high, and then 640 is next. Above there, 642, 645. All right, that is SPY, that is QQQ, coming over to VIX. All right, now I know we're looking for that bounce, but it doesn't mean it's coming just yet. I'm going to give you guys a level to watch over here for that bounce, 1570. You get back above 1570, you're likely starting a larger bounce over here on the VIX, and we're probably starting those bearish scenarios we just covered on SPY and QQQ. Expect the broad market to go with them. All right, so on the upside on VIX, just set your alert for 1570. If that gets hit, you're likely going to start seeing this 4 hour bullish divergence play out. We already started getting a bounce over here, but it looks like we want to come down and make a new low underneath 1492. If we do that, there's going to be a triple bullish divergence going on over here, 4 hour RSI. It's only a matter of time until this thing gives us a little bounce. And yeah, we're probably going to find our way back up 17 to 20 bucks. And maybe we have a full-on freaking volatility event incoming, and we get all the way up here above 22 bucks. All right, we'll see what happens. 22, 25. It's on the table, in my opinion, over the coming weeks. It is. We talked about it coming into the week. We're still talking about it. Pump and dump, that's my likely scenario for this week. That's what it was before. That's what it still is. All right, we're pumping. I'm serious, guys. We could be a dumping. All right, you don't believe me? You don't have to, but it's what I'm looking at All right. So first things first, Snap, guys. All right. Big earnings moves are possible over here. 2.37 mil, 6/18/2026, 10C. So there's that, but it's not really what I want to show you, okay? I'm telling you guys, puts just continuously get loaded. I don't care what's going on the charts right now. I've seen over the past 2 to 3 weeks, they're freaking relentless, all right? The puts, this is a bearish tape as we make new highs. I'm telling you guys, this could just turn into distribution with what we're going. Let's look at it this way. We keep popping up to these new highs. We keep finding new supply, all right? There are whales out there trying to sell for the best possible price, and this is how they do it. All right, they're continuously selling this thing into new highs. You can see it over here on SPY. Every time you pop up into new high, you pull back, you look for new liquidity, and then you end up going further up. All right, it's a giant, fake out freaking mess that's been going on. Okay, it's the same thing over here in QQ. This over here is grindy price action. At some point, you will see a correction here, and you are going to see a lot of people get caught off guard. It's just how it's going to go. Doesn't mean it's going to happen just yet, guys. But again, this thing at some point is probably going to break to the upside. And that starts when you break above 1785, my friends. You break above there, oh, VIX might start erupting. Okay, but, to really start the party, start it with a break above 1570 and then 1630. Okay, get above 1628 here. You're going to 1785, and then we have a much larger move at play. All right, that's really that. But yeah, I do still think it's coming over the coming weeks, and by that I mean maybe we do it here with Microsoft earnings. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Now that was just on QQQ. All right, you want to talk about it? We'll talk about it. The heck are these, eh? What the heck? I'm telling you, every single day. It doesn't matter how IWM over here looks. They just want to slam the tape with puts. Okay, I don't know if there's going to be a crazy bearish catalyst, but I'll tell you, that's IWM. That's not something that's going to be moving with these Mag 7 stocks. So maybe the bearish, ultra bearish catalyst is not going to be the Mag 7 stock earnings. All right, maybe they're going to come in tame. Maybe we don't make any massive moves off them. Because IWM, this is where most of those puts been being loaded ever since we started breaking out from over here. All right, real talk. If something's going to happen, it's probably going to happen soon. We're reaching a turning point, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see what happens over here. All right. And then, I'll just show you over here. You can find SPY. All right. Again, you actually had 88, 645 above the ass. They came in right around 1 o'clock, 3 mil. All right, 3 mil, guys. Okay. The big bearish one over there is IWM. QQ started coming into the scene today, but I'm telling you, IWM puts, they've been being loaded for weeks. And I don't know if some massive player or players are going to be completely wrong and just, continue getting wiped over there. I really have no idea. But I'm telling you, they're probably not. They're probably going to make their money. All right. So I don't know, but I think higher in the short term / dump maybe second half a week next week. All right. Pump and dump. That's the name of our game right now. We're here for it. IWM, it looks like bullish consolidation to me, but again, I don't really know what to think about all that bearish flow coming in. DIA, it still looks like, again, bullish consolidation before it pops up to new all-time highs, 451.55. Likely going to be the case. All right. Higher in the short term. So that is SPY, QQ, IWM, DIA, and VIX. We're going to take a look at the Mag 7 stocks. First off with NVIDIA. What did we tell you in yesterday's video, guys? By yesterday's video, I mean the weekly update, which was also yesterday's video, but it was the weekly update. What did we tell you? All right, what did we tell you? Above 174.25, this thing was likely going to be continuing. All right, it looked, we had the equal high going on here. We actually have some stocks right now with that going on. All right, same exact look to you. All right, if AVGO over there, we also had a nice little equal high going on there. Normally these things end up breaking up. It's just how it goes. Don't hate the player, hate the game. All right, but NVIDIA popped up to new highs. Is this really the most bearish look to you? It's not to me. It's certainly not to me. Does not mean we can't top off here, but I'm just going to come back. Do you guys see any tops that were put in off of that candlestick? No. What happens is the next day, you either print some bearish engulfing candlestick, you start going sideways for like 1 to 2 weeks, and then you roll over. All right. Or you'll print just a doji candle the next day, and then you roll over off that. Regardless, none of these tops I'm pointing to here, none of them come off of a candle like this. Freaking higher tomorrow, baby. Let's get it. All right. So that's NVIDIA. Tesla looks like it wants to do some crazy bullish things. We're going to see what happens over here. You need to break above 335.5. All right. Get above 335.5. We're talking 360 is likely going to be coming. And once you do break above 360, that is when this massive bullish setup here, it's going to start playing out. You're going to break through all this crap. All right. You got this big old base building out here. You're breaking out of the base. You get above 367.70. All right. And then we're going to 400 plus. Not something I'd be trading in the short term, but it's not really looking all that bad as well. Daily time frame over here on Microsoft. Looks like it wants to push up to new highs, but I know we do have earnings in just 2 sessions, so we will see what happens here. I still will not be surprised if Microsoft earnings gives us a pullback finally. All right, we're here for it. We are here for it. Downside levels if you're trading Microsoft. You're watching today's low, 510.12, 506.78, 576. Break under 576, start a larger downside move. On the upside, you have 514.64. And then 518.29 current all-time high, 520, 525, 530. That's Microsoft. Coming over here to Meta, guys, and started doing some bullish things off the open, but then it faded. All right, don't get too excited. Then it faded. You do have earnings coming up. Again, just like Microsoft, they will be on Wednesday. That's just 2 sessions away, guys. It's right after the bell. So we have 2 full sessions to deal with over here before we have our earnings move. I think it's probably going to be to the upside, like I've been pretty vocal about. All right. You had that big pump off the open there. It was a big 10-point pump, 715 all the way up to 725 off the open. And then it did nothing but fade all day. You got that little pump into end of day there. 4-hour chart shows us consolidation here. We got a little bit of a flat top setup, but it looks like it is going to be breaking up from here. All right. Above 723.62. Come back over here above 723.62. We're talking 728, 737.53, 747.90. I do think we're probably going to be moving up off earnings over here. This is something that is pretty much guaranteed going to take out this high. This is not a penny stock. This is not something, and it's not a giant pump and dump. This is a real company. This is one of the most valuable companies in the world. This thing already pushed up to the highs. Investors use this as a dip buy opportunity. They pushed it back up the highs. We're just going over simple psychology here, guys. Nothing complicated. Okay, that's a lot of what, dealing with the stock market is. You are dealing with psychology. All right. You got these highs. Investors took you back up to new highs. This was your dip buy opportunity. All right. And this is very likely just going to turn into a handle off of the cup before you end up breaking out. And no, we don't have to refer to it as that cup and handle pattern or anything like that. Again, simple psychology. It's just an easy way to say it. But real talk, all right, you got dip buyers. They brought you back up the highs. Investors are motivated here. And then people took profits into new highs. But you already know the dip is going to be bought. So that's all that creates this freaking handle. All right. And then boom, you just wait for the next wave of buyers to come in. And that's what brings you up to new highs. And you have an explosive setup waiting to go over here on Meta. Amazon, all right, started pulling back today. Come over here to the daily chart. Started pulling back, rejected Friday's high. All right, now we're just going to mark out today's high. Get above 234.29. I know we have this wick, but this wick actually does not mean anything because that is not something that actually existed. I don't know why it's there. I have absolutely no idea why. But it is there. It was a ghost wick. Okay, it was a ghost wick. I guess we'll put it on a chart. Okay, but just know I don't really care about that level. On the upside, 234.29, 236, 238, 240, 242, 52. Again, earnings coming on Thursday. On the downside, you have 232.22, 230, 227.27, 223.72. Doesn't look all that bad. Apple still just consolidating here. Until proven otherwise, this is going to be bullish consolidation. All right, we have a catalyst coming around the corner here. The weekly cloud is just now flipped back to bull territory. We know what happens when that happens. Okay? We get some upside. We're likely about to see that upside come off of earnings, in my personal opinion. We have a catalyst. I'll be real damned to see this catalyst that we know can easily move stock prices big in one direction or the other. I'll be damned if it doesn't ignite the spark over here. That is the weekly chart. All right. Ignite the gasoline, I should say. Give the spark to the gasoline. All right. That is Apple. Above 216.23, it goes 219.71, 225.70. I think 225, 230 might be coming off of earnings. We'll see what happens. It's Apple. Google. Again, it's bullish until it's not. Buyers have the chance, and they're stepping in right where they have to, guys. I'm serious. It may seem stupid, but 4-hour 21 EMA, extended hours on. It is something that is going to just going to give you a better picture of where price is at currently, okay? Underneath 192.61, we're probably going to be fading down to 187.36 and potentially down to 182.45. But, you know, until proven otherwise, bulls are in control. If they can take you back above 195.28, we're going back up to 198.16, and at that point, we're probably making our way up to all-time highs, 202.88 and then 208.70. Those are the Mag 7 stocks, guys. Let's go over some chips. All right, chips and dips, baby, chips and dips. All right, pull back, reverted to the mean, break and retest off previous all-time highs. Probably going to make new all-time highs above 293.53 tomorrow, and I do personally think we're probably going to see 300 plus come here in the short term. Potentially this week. I think this weekly candle does have what it takes to expand above last week's high. And at that point, I do think we're probably going to 300 sooner rather than later, maybe even this week. It looks like this thing is going to break new highs tomorrow. And that is good for these guys over here. TSM, guys, is probably the only chip stock that pulled back today. You did have a minus 1.16% day. Nonetheless, guys, this is just doing what it did over here. It's doing what it did over here. It's doing what it did over here. All right, this is consolidation before another leg up. This is your buying opportunity. If you want in on TSM, you're buying between here and 237.58. You're targeting new highs above 248.28, likely going to 255, 260. That's where I would personally be targeting. I do think this is going to continue higher. That I do. That's TSM. And again, SMH, all right, the semiconductor ETF over here as a whole, this is like the index of semiconductors. It is suggesting it's going to be continuing higher. All right, so TSM, expect new highs there. ARM over here, expect new highs. We also have earnings Wednesday after the close over here, so I wouldn't really be playing it, but it is something that I do think is going to be making new highs here. Potentially off earnings, we get back up to new all-time highs, 188.75. AVGO. Mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I'll mention it again now. You did get the breakout today above 290.54. You hit 295. Next stop, 300 bucks. That is AVGO. Looks like it's probably going to continue climbing. Not looking bad. Break and retest off previous highs here. AMD. Guys, you hit all of my short-term targets. You really did. You know, you hit 167.51 on Friday, just about. You had a high of 167.18. You just about got up there, okay? And then as of today, you know, I started adding on levels. Why? Because I ran out of them. All right, we ran out of targets on this freaking chart. Real talk, guys. AMD is likely heading back up to all-time highs. All right, the 227.30. Am I bugging? No, it is. All right, 227.30. That is all-time highs. It's not going straight there. I mean, I know it looks like it is right now, but I can almost guarantee it's not going to go straight there. It's going to have some consolidation at one point or the other, just like this over here. And I think that can start up from in this golden pocket, guys. So just be careful about chasing this bad boy. Does not mean it can't go straight up to all-time highs. It can. It can. But is it going to? I don't know. I don't know, and neither do you. All right, at this point, we just came out of a deep correction, just like over here. We have this very impulsive move. Now, it looks more impulsive than what we got going on over here. But I'm just going to point out where you stalled out at last time. Golden pocket, baby. All right? This candle right there. It's just like what we got going on right here. This on the monthly chart. I'm not saying you're going to stall out here, but I'm telling you, if you are going to stall out, it's going to be here. All right? And then you're going to come back down here, 130 to 150. And then we find buyers back again. And then we push up to all-time highs after that. It's going to go something like this if all goes perfectly. All right? Maybe a bit more. It takes a bit more of consolidation there, just like it did over there. Built something out. And again, it's not a guarantee, guys. It's really not. You know, AMD has done some crazy shit in the past. Pardon my French. It has. Okay. But a lot of times it does build out these consolidations. So I just want everyone to be aware of that, because I know a lot of people, they missed out on this move. They missed out on it. Breakout over here. They missed out on the breakout over here. They missed out on the breakout over here. I'm telling you, I think it's a terrible spot to start trying to trade this thing long. So up to you on what you want to do, but you know, we called this move before it happened. I'm not going to say I took advantage of it. I'm not. AMD has been a troll in my past. I've only lost money over here in AMD. So I have just kind of put it on the list of tickers that I don't trade. Maybe it will make its way back onto that list, but you know, currently it is not. But we did end up pushing back up the high. I told you guys after we printed this candle right over here around that daily 21, around 147.75 breakout level, we're probably going to make our way back up to 161.96 in the short term. Guys, we have gone straight up vertical, increasing volume, probably going higher tomorrow. But again, guys, it's not a spot I'd be getting involved on. This is where it can fall flat in its face, and it could become real frustrating. And then that's the troll AMD we know and love. But in reality, we know this is the place to go, so it wouldn't be trolling us. Okay? This is the place sellers are going to step in. 174 up to 187. Expect it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you expect it, and you'll have a good time. All right? Doesn't mean to short it. It's a very strong setup over here. I don't think it's worth doing that. You have earnings around the corner. What if it does get some crazy earnings announcement there? All right? Crazy earnings call, and boom, somehow it's at new all-time highs. You don't know. All right, on to my trade ideas. Okay, so these are my ideas. Now, I gave you some of these guys ahead of time. I gave them at much lower prices. I gave you SMCI on this day right here. Okay, on that day right there, June 25th. We are now over a month later, month and 3 days. Okay, real talk. This was on the focus list this week. I gave it to you guys in the weekly update. This thing gapped up today. This thing is rocket shipping. This thing might be actually doing that freaking vertical move over here that we were talking about over here. And guess what? It just didn't happen. And then over here, again, we said it might be happening, and it didn't happen. Okay, because you did not gap up the next day. And over here, you gapped up, you filled the gap. If we're in this impulsive move, guess what? The thing does not fill its gaps. Okay, so if this thing gaps up tomorrow, we'll just say 61, 62 bucks. You pull back, you test 60.08. Okay, doesn't mean it's not going to bounce, but I'm telling you guys, that's the beginning of the end for the stock. All right, this run right here, it's going to be over. Just about. Just like MSTR hit that daily 21 EMA. It was the beginning of the freaking end. Right over here. We didn't know if it was going to be given a bounce. We knew it was the beginning of the end. And guys, it's a sad day over here. I'll tell you. Over here for MSTR. Oh, the thing is in the shitter. All right. And I'm going to be honest. I think it still is probably going to push back up with Bitcoin. But I have no idea when that is going to be the case. So we'll talk about that. But let's talk about some trade ideas first. First one being SMCI, guys. Congrats if you ended up catching that. I'll hit it for you.
It's easy.
All right. And then on the upside, guys, we have today's high, 60.08. Again, if you see a gap up tomorrow and then that fills, just know. You don't have to get out right there, but just know if you see a bounce, it's probably going to be your last bounce before you actually end up consolidating or getting a larger pullback. All right, so on the upside, 62.47, that's your next target, and above there, 67.10. Above there, 74.12. This thing could get really moving. It really can. All right, we're only up 10% on the day. You see this gap up right over here? This thing went quite a bit. All right, had a 30% move that week. You see this gap up right over here? Again, almost a 30% move. Gap up right over here. Oh, it was a freaking rip river move. Gap up right here. Big boy move. We've had this big weekly base going on. We slowly climbed our way out of it, and now we're starting to accelerate. This could turn into a 25 to 30% week. If it turns into that, what are we going to be looking at? We're talking above 67 bucks. So 67 is that next target, really. Like 62.47, yes. But, you know, when I originally, created this trade idea here, this trade plan, guess what? We're talking 56. We're talking 60. And we're talking 67 freaking schmeckles. So I do think that might be incoming. 65 might be incoming tomorrow. Like I mentioned, Snap, guys, we saw 2.4 mil come into calls today. They are dated calls. This one hasn't had a big earnings move in a while. I am wondering if we are about to see a big bullish earnings move tomorrow. I am not entirely sure. I have not been on Snapchat for a very long time. But I'll tell you, I remember this thing having really big moves. Bullish and bearish. Mostly bearish. And I think it might be about to make a bullish move. We'll see what happens over here. Nothing to bet the farm on. Nothing to even bet on. Okay? You know, it's a complete lotto if you do. But it's something that I saw light up today. And it's something to pay attention to. So I will. Target. All right? Target, guys. Just consolidating. Breaking a retest over 105.97. All right? If you can push through 108.76, you're likely pushing up to 112.53 and then 120.21. I really like how the weekly chart is shaping up here. And if we take it through last week's high, at that point, we probably get another decent sized weekly candle. Probably get above 112.53 this week. That's target. SMR. All right, guys. So SMR is honestly shaping up here. It looks like it is probably going to be pushing back up the highs. Maybe as soon as tomorrow. The one I really like is Oklo right now. But these both have those equal highs going on right here. Typically, guys, we will not top off these things. We typically use these as consolidation points and then break through them. All right, the top of those ranges, we break through them over the coming sessions. Now, there are a few occurrences where this can just create an actual top, this being one of them over here, but you can also see the next day. You came right back up to the highs, so you got your exit chance right over there. And I'll tell you right now, this candle is not. It does not look like that right over there, okay? I think this thing is probably going to continue above 53.39, and I think it's probably going 55 to 60 bucks this week. That is SMR. Okay, next one is Oklo, and this is honestly the one that I would be focusing on if you were going to be trading one of these things. Oklo, we know can get some really big freaking moves. Some really big moves. Okay, intraday that was a 16% move. Let's get a 16% move from where we are right now. We're going almost to 90 bucks. Real talk, I think 80 is coming in the short term. I think 90 is definitely on the table. 100 might be on the table over the coming 1 to 2 weeks. But Oklo, weekly chart, you got a big base and break and retest going on here. You got the big base built right around where you know, breakout level right over there. Previous all-time high, 59.14. You had this big move up here. You retested 59.14. Right over here, and it printed almost an exact low. Your low is 58.88. All right, that is missing it by like 30 cents. You're coming underneath there, and then you're shooting all the way back up to highs. Very key level right here. You defended it. You want to push higher. Okay, this thing right here, it wants to push higher. It wouldn't have done this off of 59.14 if it didn't. Okay, I'm telling you right now, the daily chart looks good. The weekly chart looks good. The 4 hour showing some consolidation over here above 77.17. We're talking 80 bucks can come that session. Next target 85. Next target above there 90 bucks. That's Oklo. Cost. Now I told you guys about this one. I'm not telling you that it's just going to magically start popping up here, but I'm telling you guys what I told the Discord today. All right. This is the area of interest where we look for buyers to start stepping in. This is the daily RSI getting down into oversold territory. Most of the times this has happened in the past, it's marked at bottom. Okay, you've started seeing buyers step in shortly around there. It's not always going to be perfect. But this is, you know, all the golden pocket is the area of interest. Okay, it shows us where the opposing side there is likely to step in. I'm just going to point out here. Base and then big move. Base and then big move. Mark this out. Daily time frame. I guarantee we're going to see a base. Base right over here. You could really just mark out the top of that. Just like that. Broke above it. Boom. Then big move. Big sell. Based out for a while. All right. Big sell. You based out. And then you started it with this big gap up there over here. And then you had yourself quite a day. Big sell, you based out, and then eventually you broke above it, you retested the top of that base, and then you had a larger move. Okay? Down here, you didn't just start reversing. Okay? You had like 3 or 4 sessions in an equal range down here. Okay? You're just sitting down here. This can be seen as the base. Big sell over here, you based out for 2 weeks and then pushed up off of that. Okay? I'm just pointing out that things likely not going to skyrocket. That you don't have to feel the FOMO. This is an idea. This is something that is going to take some time to play out. I don't want anybody just blindly buying a falling knife because Henry said this is where buyers would step in. Okay? So I'm thoroughly explaining the trade idea to you guys. We're watching it over the next 1 to 2 weeks for a base to build. And we're going to see if we can catch something. Next one reminds me of cost right there is MCD. I gave this to you right before it started getting this move. Okay? Bullish divergence was present on the daily RSI. And then I told you to leave it alone once it got up here to 298.86. It hit there, pulled back for quite a bit. And then you made this new high, and now you've just been consolidating here in a bull flag. All right? Today you start breaking up from that bull flag. I mentioned that in the weekly update. It's time to put it back on the radar. Today you got that big breakout. And if you can get above 302.79, guys, I think this thing might start having a big boy freaking move back up here to these highs. We're talking 310, 305, and then 310 once you take out 302.79. All right? Keep it on the radar. It's starting to heat up again. That's MCD. Okay. Next one I have for you guys is Oracle. Oracle over here. I gave this to you guys in the weekly update. It's likely going to be taking out 251.60 here this week. That's what I was saying. It looks like it wants new highs this week. Above 251.60. You're targeting 255 and then 260. That's really it. But as you see, every time you have these bases, after making new highs here, you break up out of them and you get this decent sized freaking move right away. All right. That is a 10-point move right away. What happened? Break and retest, and you broke through the highs. Next session, you have a 10-point move. All right. Let's be real about this. These are big boy freaking moves. All right. Give it a few sessions. You had 13 points. And then you had another high. What happened? Another 10-point move. Let's make some fucking money. Okay. I hope you guys are having a good time in this market, but I'm telling you guys right now, it is a frustrating market to trade in. Please do not be putting on an arm and a leg of risk right now. You got no business doing so. I'm telling you, VIX is probably going to be spiking. I'm telling you, we have a crap ton of false breakup kind of moves. Okay? We're making new highs. We're selling immediately. Every time. For 2 to 3 weeks, I knew the hiccups were going to come back. And it happened to be right at the very end of the video. Oh my God, they're coming back full force. Oh my God, it's going to happen again. I don't want to hiccup again, dude. They hurt. It's okay. Oh, it's there. It hurts my pride. Regardless, guys, make some freaking money. Focus. Oh my God. Focus on the things that are hot. Focus on the things that are running. I'm trying to say this quick because I'm going to hiccup again and ruin it. Oh my God, I know it. Oracle is going to be hot. Oracle is going to be running. Make some fucking money. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you're having a good time. If you need help navigating this market, I am here. I'll help you out. Link is down below. Come join our Discord. All right. But real talk, I will give you continuously what is hot and what is moving in the markets, and you will have a good time. Oracle likely going to be taking out 251.60 tomorrow. I'm trying to fight these hiccups, guys. I really am. I swear. I'm sorry I'm not strong enough, but it's happening. QBTS consolidating over here. Get ready for the big move. Likely going to happen after this pullback here. Take out 1754. Be open to a larger sell. Maybe move doesn't come yet. But if it gets through 1977 again, then 2056, you're targeting 22, 23, 25. All right, that's what I have for you guys today. Sorry that the hiccups decided to come and ruin the parade right at the end of the video. Reddit just started breaking up. Walmart's looking really freaking good over there. LLY, wait for the break above 825. Walmart above 99.5. It goes. Reddit over here, guy. Oh my God, these hiccups drive me nuts. Likely going to make its way back up to 164.55. Could happen this week. Could happen next. You have earnings this week, so likely going to be this week. All right, guys, with that being said, if you want to come trade with me, I'm live every day. That link is down below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please, all I ask, I know I got the hiccups. I know they're annoying. They're annoying me too. But all I ask is that you leave a like, so we could get these videos out to more people. We could grow our channel here. I'm sorry about the hiccups. I was really fighting them the whole video, and they came out full-fledged right at the end. Oh my God. But I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. We're going to kill it tomorrow. And peace.